Check. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's a little hot. 2. 1, 2. 3, 4. Hey. 1, 2. Check. 2. 1, 2. 3, 4. Hey. 1, 2. 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello. What's up? 1, 2. What? Check, 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 check. 1, 2. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can I stop talking? Keep going? 1, 2? You got it.
Hey, I gotta head back. It's nice seeing you.
I saw Mr. Butch just the other day.
And then here's the rundown, so.
Check. Hey, everybody. Short housekeeping notes. There's food and a Jenga table in the large BHQ conference room, 16339. There's overflow viewing of today's event from there. Also, there's a beverage bar with an overflow viewing set up in 2309's classroom, 16336. Please leave a note for Doug and take a BE cookie in the hallway. Thanks for coming.
Hello? Good afternoon. I'm Angela Belcher. I'm the Associate Department Head here in BE. And I'm here to welcome you to BE at 20, our 20 celebration. We're here to celebrate two things. One is the existence of biological engineering for at least 20 years, depending on how you count, here at MIT. And to celebrate the enormous contributions of our founding department head, Doug Lauffenburger. And so we've been here as a community for about 20 years when we started as a division. Doug came here a few years before to kind of get, to do some background setting up and get things started to go in this direction. And of course we became a department in 2004. And Doug has been our founding department head since then. But we're not really here to necessarily just celebrate Doug. We're here to celebrate ourselves as a community and what we've brought. And I think Doug would probably agree that he doesn't really want this to be about him, but it wants it to be about us. And if you think about it, we're a pretty, fantastic community of people who share a common vision. Our common vision is in education, undergraduate and graduate education, and in the basic idea of using the interface between biology and science to make the world a better place. And I think we do that every day through all our different research programs and our teaching and our outreach. And the reason I'm here is because Doug pulled me away from my native Texas, and he says, you have to come see what we're doing here in biological engineering. And I said, I'm really happy where I am. And I came and I visited, and it was the most exciting place I'd ever been. And I pretty much didn't want to leave, didn't even want to go home since then. And so I still feel that every single day. And it's not just about our research or just about our teaching, it's about the people and the community and how much we get along with each other and how much we care about each other. And it's also about the staff that we work with here, who are so important in making everything run as well as it does, and how dedicated everyone is to BE and to MIT. When I think about Doug as a department head, one of the things that has been most exceptional from my point of view is that Doug doesn't lead from the front. And he doesn't lead from behind, he leads from within. And I don't know if I've ever met another leader like that. And so he's a part of us, and he's making us be better than we knew that we could be. And so I really appreciate that. And so some people like me are really sad that Doug is transitioning into a very active teaching role. I heard he's actually been assigned over teaching for his first year, which will be incredible for the students to get to experience him more on a day-to-day in his teaching. But we built BE from the ground up. There was no biological engineering department in the world. We're different from any other department, and we really built it from the ground up. And so we have set up a table. It's based on a game called Jenga. And it's these bricks, and it's in the I think it's in the headquarters. And we have a bunch of they're smaller bricks, a lot of these bricks, which I want you to write a word or two on. What does it mean to build a department from the ground up? And then we can actually, we're the brick and the mortar of biological engineering. We don't have a building yet, knock on wood, maybe we will soon. Or someday, but we are the elements that make it up. And so I just wrote down two ideas, what I think it takes to build a department from the ground up. One is vision, and the other is endurance. But we have enough for each of you to put an idea or a word of encouragement, what you feel like it takes to have built a department or to build a department going forward. Because this is not the end, and it's not the beginning, but it's a continuation. And so we need more bricks, we need more people, we need everyone contributing what they've contributed before. Maybe we can all kind of channel Doug going forward and think about how important the community has been to him and how important it is to our everyday lives. So I should say is I did look up, there's been 35 departments here at MIT, and so he's one of 35 founding department heads out of the over 150 years that MIT's been here, and over the great number of people who have led other departments. And so with that, there's a lot of people who want to contribute, and because we wanted to focus on sharing time together and sharing stories, we're going to keep these formal talks short. But I wanted to first, so we also have a table, we have a table where you can pick up a BE cookie, but it's not free. So we'd like you to leave a word, a haiku, I have a haiku, or a word of encouragement for Doug, a word of thanks for Doug, or for BE going forward. So it's leave a note, take a cookie. So we also have representatives from the undergraduates, the graduate students, the staff, and from postdocs. And first up are going to be Stephen Trong and Carrie Green, who are going to say a few words representing the undergraduate students.
All right, I can begin with talking about how much Doug's done for the undergrads, but I don't think I'd have enough time. And so I will talk about what Doug hasn't done for the undergrads. Okay, maybe not that. I probably phrased it wrong. But this goes back to a time when a very well acquaintance of mine named Vivian told me how Doug was giving a tour for a non-undergrad, but a high school student and his father. And she said to me that Doug was doing this for a person who is probably either very well connected or, more importantly, a very special person. And I kind of thought about this, and I came to the conclusion that this really was a special person, because I think every one of us, especially undergrads, feel like a special person to Doug. Doug's always super responsive, and we get emails in the middle of the night where he approved our undergraduate board budget, and we're like, yes, money! But yeah, so Doug, you set the standard for us that we are first scientists, but also we are people, and that we should kind of be there and be attentive, be responsive. And, with that standard, I promise you we won't disappoint you.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Carrie. I guess first I just wanted to say a few words about BE as a whole. I remember freshman year I was another course, it doesn't matter, and then it doesn't matter. And over the summer I was just really reflecting about what I wanted for my education here. And I remember emailing Kathy saying, hey, I want to be course 20, like how do I get on board with this? And I was so fortunate that Doug had room to take on another advisor, or advisee, and that was the beginning of our relationship. And I am so, so grateful for everything that he's done for the community, but also everything that he's done for me. Has had a super open door policy, able to meet with him multiple times a semester, even though I know he's so, so busy. And I just remember working through classes, working through how I should spend my summers, being so supportive about what I wanted to do at MIT and beyond, which I haven't told him yet, but I guess, I don't know, I was debating whether I should say this or not, but whatever. And then from all the support that I've gotten from him and all the skills that I've gained from this community here, I'll be going to Yale for my MD PhD, and I know that, I feel like, yes, I've done a lot of work, but I know that wouldn't have happened without the community here, and especially all the support that I've gotten from you, Doug. So just thank you so much. Thank you for everyone coming out and supporting this. It was a lot more people than I expected. But I think that's really all I have to say. But this has been, as a senior, it's been a great time here, and I'm very grateful, and thank you so much.
And we'd like to introduce Eric L. I spent an entire semester as being a student of yours, but I have not been able to pronounce your last name, and I'm very sorry for that. So Eric L., who will be representing the grad students.
Thank you, Stephen. It's Lenhart. Yeah. So I'm speaking here today on behalf of the graduate students and the graduate student board. I think it's fair to say that most of us in BE have a Doug story. A story of a time when we were going through some hardship, a personal illness, a family tragedy, or any of the many stressors that come with being at MIT. And Doug came through for us in an unexpected way. My story comes from before I was officially an MIT student. I had actually turned down the department, and I was thinking I had made the mistake of a lifetime. It was after the deadline, at the peak of the spring semester, and on short notice, but Doug still found time to take a phone call from this indecisive, insecure prospective student, and he assured me that there still was a place for me in this department and that I would still be fully welcomed. I suspect that for Doug, it was another passing moment in a characteristically busy week, but for me, his care in that conversation was tremendously important. I've heard many such stories from fellow students and alumni. As a graduate student body, whether as individuals, as a board, as refs, we recognize how fortunate we are to have a partner like Doug. Changes to the graduate curriculum, the TA process, the milestones to graduation are all tangible examples of Doug and the department listening carefully to graduate student concerns and acting in students' best interests. No matter the circumstance, we can be certain that our concerns will be met with respect, an open mind, and a relentless effort to reach the best possible resolution for everyone involved. For this, we are extremely grateful. Doug, when we learned of your plans to step down this spring, we took a survey of current students so that we could provide student perspectives for the search committee. It might not surprise you to learn that we thought we should be consulted. Of course, that was never in doubt. The committee had already planned to ask for our input. This is BE, after all. In the survey, we asked students what they want in a department head and what's special about BE that should be preserved. What we received were dozens and dozens of comments that said things like, Doug has fostered a friendly and collaborative culture. This is a department that puts student success first. Doug conveys an attitude that if you find the right people and take care of them, the performance and metrics will follow. We wanted to make sure that you know the impact that you have had on all of us, and I mean all of us, not just students and alumni. So we made you a book. It's quite a book. And this book commemorates the creation of the department and the impact that you have had here. It tells the story of BE through recollections, news articles, and photos gathered from all the members of this community. It is a true BE collaboration. It came from the efforts of students and staff and faculty. And it encompasses voices from every era of biological engineering and every corner of the globe to which members of the BE community have spread. It is from all of us to you. When you came to MIT in 1995, you were entrusted with much, and you have been faithful with much more. We are so grateful. Thank you, Doug, for everything you've given to MIT Biological Engineering.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Doug, for opening that space. Eric is working on in my group on climate change. So our next representative is Ronnie Dudley Cowens. She is BE Administrative Officer since the beginning of biological engineering, and she's here to say a few words and represent many of the staff here in BE.
Thank you, Auntie. So, Doug, I've had the pleasure and the honor of working with you from the he's laughing. I have to just say this. This is how we work. I'm the bad mom, he's the good dad. So everybody say, but no, I've had the pleasure of working with Doug from the very beginning. And I've witnessed so many changes. We went from division to division to division to division to department. And there was just always these changes as to, what do we call the division? What kind of faculty do we hire? Do we change the curriculum? Are we opening up a different pool of students? Changes, changes, changes. Every now and then I would ask Doug, are we there yet? And he would say, almost, Ronnie, almost. But with all of the changes that have taken place, there's one thing that didn't change, and that was you, Doug. You've always been a constant. And from the very beginning, you've always showed a concern and appreciation for not just the faculty and the students, but also the staff. You express an interest in our well-being, our workspace, our families, and I can say even for our personal challenges. And so even seeing that you were always thinking and trying to figure out, okay, where do I take this department? Where do I take this discipline? Where you never forgot about the staff. You were always thinking about the staff, and you always included us in this entire process. And so many of the staff have conveyed to me that they love BE. They enjoy working in BE. Many left and came back because they enjoyed BE. Some of us are hoping to retire from BE. Okay? But seriously, that environment, that atmosphere, it comes from the top, and you set that tone. And you set a very caring, a considerate, an inclusive and appreciative tone, and for that we're grateful. So on behalf of the staff, I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for thinking of us. I want to thank you for including us and for letting us know that our contributions meant something and that we did have something to contribute. So to show our deep appreciation, we want to present you with this. I have one hand, so I can't really lift it. This photograph. And this photograph was taken, and it was framed by our BE graduate student, Corbin Swain. I'm not sure, is Corbin here? And we hope that it serves as a reminder of the strong community of dedicated staff members that your efforts have pulled together over the years. We just want to say thank you. Good luck. Okay?
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Ronnie. And next, we're going to have just a few words from Doug, our leader and founding department head.
All right, this is really hard. I told Jerry that I might even cry, and I've been close because you folks are all so kind. And it also made me realize I have to use the teleprompter so that I don't do too many off-the-cuff remarks that I can get into trouble on. So just a few things, really. I can't possibly thank everybody enough because we would go back to even before 1998 and all through the years. So we'll all have to be in person. But a few things here. I want to really express appreciation to the people who put this event together. I know a tremendous amount of work, I think led by Jerry and Dan and Aaron and a whole team. And I didn't know much about what's going on, but I knew it was a tremendous amount of work. And that's an awful lot about the way this department has been. I was telling Angie, you get credit for a lot of things. You really didn't do anything of it at all. But Eric got it right, and that is, I have always believed you just find good people and entrust them to do things that they are passionate about doing and doing well, and then you just watch. You just step back and you watch. And so we just have remarkable people. The event itself, Angie was also right. I absolutely did not and do not want this to be about me. It's about our department. This is really important, and I hope everybody understands this. It's a singular department. It something like this has not existed before in the world. Angie's absolutely right. It's a discipline that hadn't existed previously, the world desperately needed, and now is going to have immense positive impact. So it wasn't easy to grow over the years, but it's tremendously important. So for everybody who is a part of it, you are having historic impact in the world. If you go back, I came in '95, but there was already groups of faculty here who had so much to do with this. Prominently, Al Grzinski, Roger Kam, Linda Griffith led the folks who were in the School of Engineering already in wanting to create this. The tremendous partnership of the faculty from the toxicology division, and especially I want to give credit to Steve Tannenbaum, who was the co-director with me when we first started the first division that Ronnie might remember. This one wouldn't happen without the partnership of Steve and the rest of the faculty who came from the toxicology division. And then also, I was amazed, especially in the early years, at the students who joined us, the graduate students who turned down other places to come to this very peculiar department and say, yeah, I will get my PhD here. It's weird, but I'm going to get my PhD here. And then when we created Course 20 in the undergraduate program, the same thing with the undergraduate students. You could have majored in all kinds of things that were safe and sound, and you knew where your future was going to go. And this was new, and new is daunting and uncertain, but maybe exciting. But you decided to invest your own education in us, and you didn't owe that to us, so we're grateful to you for doing that. The reason this is all important, I think what we've done over 20 years and going forward, I think is two things. Number one, as I said before, I think the impact of this new discipline cannot be underestimated because it is doing new things in the world that have not been capable of being done before. It's going to prove to have immense favorable impact. So keep doing what you're all doing. It's tremendously worthwhile to the world. The other thing that I personally believe that I'm very happy about is I believe that we've shown that you can accomplish and succeed and still have right and good behavior. That there's no conflict between treating people right, treating people well, and, quote, getting ahead. Okay? That I believe they go hand in hand. You treat people right, you treat people well, you demonstrate behavior of respect and integrity and kindness, and good, important things will happen. So I believe that we've been able to exhibit that, and I'm as proud of that as anything. One more thing. So what did I contribute? I would say two things. I very fervently believed in this mission, that there was a new kind of biology engineering fusion that was going to exist, needed to exist, and we could figure it out. I just firmly believe that, and I think that turned out to be true. And I've worked hard at that, and I've cared. So if you want to put an epitaph on me at some point, I've worked hard and I've cared. I've cared about each and every person, student, staff, faculty. I've cared about our mission. So to me, if you care about the right things and if you work hard, then you can feel good about what happens in the end. So lastly, going forward, right? Again, Angie said this isn't an end. It isn't a beginning. We're going forward. I believe we're accelerating. That this accomplishment and right behavior will continue to go forward hand in hand. We have fantastic new leadership, and I want to make sure everybody knows who the new leadership is because I'm not sure we've quite put it out there explicitly. So I'm thrilled that we've got the following folks. Angie Belcher is department head. Thank you for taking over, Angie. we are in wonderful hands, and I'm excited to what's going forward under your leadership. And Scott Manalis has agreed to serve as Associate Department Head, very valuable. Undergraduate program chair and co-chair now going forward will be Forrest White and Linda Griffith. Very appreciative to them. And for the graduate students, the graduate program, new chair and co-chair will be Katarina Ribick and Paul Blaney. So thank you to you. And as for myself, I will be a member of the community, just like every single one of you. I may have an overload in teaching. We'll see about that, but if that's true, I'll be excited. So, just be very proud to be part of this biological engineering community for years to come, and thank you so much for the kindness you've shown me. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, for those very inspiring words. We now have Jishnu Das, representing the postdocs, who's going to propose a toast.
So I was told to keep this very short, and if I go on about Doug and all his great achievements, we'll be here for a very long time. So I would like to toast, I guess, 3 things, and these 3 I think set Doug apart, in my experience, from many other great scientists and leaders. The first is what people have alluded to, like this idea of biological engineering was so new, and now it's part of what most people talk about, applying engineering principles to solve problems in biology and medicine, like thinking like an engineer to solve problems in biology and medicine. And there is incredible recognition of this work, and like I've been to conferences, I was recently on an academic job search, just talking to people saying, oh, you're from Doug Lauffenburger's lab, we know who you are. That is something really to be proud of, I think, what Doug has achieved. So that's the first toast. The second thing is, well, doing science is really hard, but I've rarely met someone like Doug who has so much positive energy around him. Like, no matter when things are going great, people are happy, but every single day he has a smile on his face and he has a word of encouragement, no matter how things are going. So that's something exceptional. So that's what we toast to, the second one. And the final and the most important thing, I think, both in Doug's lab and in the department, what I've felt, and looking at his 65th birthday celebration, I feel part of a family. It's beyond a department or a lab. It's really Doug's academic family, and I've met so many former trainees of Doug, and it's like we're all part of this giant network, and more importantly, family. So that's the biggest thing to toast to. Thank you, Doug.
I want to thank all the representatives from the community who did a really fantastic job talking about, how special and how much Doug has impacted all of our lives. I think there were many more people who wanted to speak, but thank you everyone for doing such a great job representing our community as a whole. So I think that that's the end of our formal part of this. Please remember to write your words on the bricks for building BE, and to write a note and take a cookie. I should say that a tremendous amount of work went into making the book that is Doug's gift. There were students working on weekends, late at night, and on holidays, because there was such, we said, wow, will people come up with enough content to fill a book? And letters and ideas came in from all over the world. But there's going to be a book 2.0. So if you didn't get in something you wanted, or a picture you wanted, or if you want to add a haiku or another a note, please feel free to do so. And we'll be getting a version 2 out in the next month or so. With that, I'd like to invite you all back here in 20 years for the next celebration. You know, when I first came here, I said, wow, I came here because this is the most exciting place I've ever seen, and I feel even more like that today. And I always said I came for the research, but I stayed for the students because we have the most fantastic students, undergraduates, graduates, and postdocs. And it's going to be such a pleasure to be, you know, in charge of running this department for the next 20 years. No, first. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm going to open the book quickly.
Boy, that's a picture from long ago,
Oh my God. It was a great team effort.
back when I was young. I'm not sure I saw Linda. Was she here someplace?
I don't know. I was trying to, I don't even have her cell phone number. I need it to.
Yeah. So now the cellophane opens?
Yeah. That was just, I wanted to keep people's grubby hands.
Oh, wow.
That's you.
Holy cow. I'll read it all later, obviously. This is spectacular. Oh, there's the letter.
Yes.
Ah, Linda made sure that was in there, right? Oh boy, I remember all these things. Oh, this is really something. Yeah, I mean, this history was amazing. Yeah.
And then people sent us letters and everything, and we divided them up.
So at the end is a reproduction of all the letters that were excerpted.
This is fantastic. Thank you, folks. Beautiful.
Labor of love.
Wow.
I'll bring it down.
Can you do it? Yeah, because I know Stephen has something for me, too.